Hey, Beyonce's still there, so hi.
Hi.
Hi, it's so great to talk to you again.
Yes, lovely to see you. How are
Uh,
you?
I am good. The thing is, you're also like stalking me everywhere. Not you personally, but your ass. Like every second, like I'm just on Instagram and I'm like, oh, gold, gold, gold. And I'm like, was it also because I was like talking about Bluey and now they think I'm into Australian things? But it is super cute. So how does it feel that it's out? Like your baby in a sense.
Yeah, it feels good. It's nice. It's like I was thinking about this just before. I feel like release day can sometimes feel like your birthday in that it can be quite overwhelming and like sometimes, leave you feeling a little bit like less than what you'd hoped, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
But for whatever reason, this time feels a bit different. I
Yeah.
feel calm.
I was going to say, did this one feel a bit different than other projects because it's a bit more personal? I didn't know if you were going to feel a bit more unease because, like, you go through a lot in 4 songs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I don't know if it's the time, like the spacing of it. Like we had a lot more time to prepare for this project. I don't know if it's because it's more personal that I already went through a lot of the anxiety and like a lot of the fear was in making it, like we were talking about. And I feel like now that it's out, it almost not that it doesn't matter, but it's like I'm free of worrying because it already is. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm really proud of it. Like I feel good. Like I feel like I hoped I would, as far as like I put a lot of myself into this project. I was honest about how I feel and what I see, and I feel like no one can really take that away from me.
Interesting. So I would like you to do this as well, but I picked my favorite lines from each song, and I kind of wanted you to talk about it, and I also wanted you to share your favorite lines. I was like, I hope that's not like too much.
No, that's literally yes. Oh, I love this already. That's so
Okay.
fun.
Okay. First, I'll go with mine first. So first, we're
Yeah.
gonna start with Kobe B. And
Uh-huh.
my favorite is fact that as I'm finally done with fitting my jeans, fact that I'm wild, fact is I'm free.
Okay, huge. Yep.
There is the double entendre, of course. I
Yep.
well, not of course, I could be completely wrong. Of jeans,
Yeah,
um,
DNA pants.
and then and
Yeah.
pants, and being non-binary as well. What was your thought when making like putting that together?
I'm like, okay, so the second verse was written in Australia. It was written back home. Um, I think maybe like 3 months after like the initial like song had been made. So it was like a nice break. And I knew that the version that we had, V5, I want to say, like it was really cool. We had the chorus. It like felt, generally speaking, quite good, but there were just a few moments that didn't hit in the exact way that I guess I needed it to feel confident and excited and like, okay, I can release this type thing of like, I think for Kobe Beef especially, the standard that I felt for myself of like how much I needed to love the song was really high.
Mhm.
Um, so with that line in particular, like that was one of the last things that we wrote for the song, which was really cool. Like when that verse came together, like because obviously it has this sort of like theme of like the choral vocals coming in on these like what is it like whatever like something about the ID. Yeah, da ba da ba da ba ba da ba da. Um, yeah, and it just felt like I've had to sit a lot with like what clothes mean to me now and like how I want to be perceived. And also at the same time trying to let go of caring about how I'm perceived, like there's a balance to be struck. So I feel like with that line, it's like saying, it's like trying to let go of that as far as like, whether I'm wearing this or wearing that, like I'm free and I'm me all the time, sort of thing. But I would love like there's been a few I would like to wear more skirts. I'm just gonna say that.
Why not? Genuinely,
Because
like, why
I'm
aren't you doing that?
really particular about shapes. Like it's much easier to find a pant leg that I really like a nice wide leg that like holds in the right places than it is to find a skirt that folds the exact way that I would like it to.
I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Speaking of clothes, we're still going to go back to your favorite line on this song, but in
Yeah.
your visuals, you have a bunch of different outfits. Are these supposed to represent different characters? And what was your favorite look? And what was like the idea behind that?
Yeah. So definitely different characters. I think, I mean, I ended up taking a lot of angles from the visuals as far as like what they mean to me and how they contribute to the story. I feel like their characters, they are in some ways like this idyllic version of myself, these sort of like um unattainable ideas of existence of like all the time of like, oh, I want to like look like this, or even just the promise of feeling the way you want to feel because of how you look, which is not always the case. And I think to have those images represent different parts of me, but also like this promise of what Jupiter could bring. I feel like it mimics the story well of like, is Jupiter a place that you go to, or is Jupiter a place that you find inside yourself? And so I feel like they kind of play into that. But definitely like these avatars that yeah, like this ideal or like wishful sort of thinking.
Did you have a favorite one?
It's segmented. Okay, so favorite hair, this one with the little flakies. That's favorite hair. Favorite makeup was the one like the black all black outfit with like the one little. I really liked the colorful top, like the rainbowy kind of bluey fluffy top in from like above. And then I'm gonna say the Ghana pants. They were sick.
Cool. Yes. Do you style it yourself or do you have a
Oh
stylist?
no. Stylish. For shoots, like all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm slowly building my collection. I feel good about my closet right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I'm getting some pieces.
Yeah. Well, what's your tour? Well, it hasn't started yet, but are you excited about your tour? Like, was there like a very specific point of view, or is it going to be like a different outfit each show?
I toss and turn between both those all the time. I feel like I definitely have this idea of what it could look like. I've got at least two outfits in mind, maybe three.
Mhm.
I'm not locking anything in yet. I know there's only 4 days to go, but
And what's your favorite line in Kobe beef?
I think okay, I'm doing a twofer.
Hmm,
So lame, but I do think that threefer. Damn, this is tough.
go ahead.
So like title line, why the heck you bringing up my Kobe beef? I love that. But really because we squeezed the word heck in there, and I just think that's hilarious. Um, what was the other one? Flew in on Ruby Slips, a little gift I got in Kansas. That's a banger. That's sick. Stoked with that. That always makes me very happy. Feel like I want to click my heels. And then wait, what was the three for? There was one more. Kobe beef. Oh, the I was being paperback line.
Yeah, can you tell me about that?
This is a stretch, but in my head, like it doesn't even really make sense when I say it out loud, but it made sense in my head. Like I was being paperback, like I didn't have a solid spine.
I love it.
And like you taught me that I'm okay. And then it like transitions into the chorus. So it's like I was being spineless and you taught me to be strong.
This was going to come out later. It's going to just but okay, I feel like your lyrical style is very influenced by rap, at least to me.
Yeah.
How is that so? And I feel like you kind of lean into that delivery style more in Only Human, but where has that kind of come from?
It's funny, I don't necessarily okay. So I don't think of it like that as far as it like coming from like hip hop and rap, but that makes a lot of sense because I like to me lyrics are the most important part of my songs. And I think obviously that's the same for rap and hip hop. Like it's about the lyrical content and the way that you can explain something or find a new angle to talk about something that everyone talks about. And I think that like I try to think of it more I try to think of it more as poetry really. But like I kind of do like it's important to me that everything could be dissected in the way that we're talking about it now, that everything means something and that I'm talking about something specific because otherwise yeah, I'm much less engaged with fluff or like not even just like when I say fluff, I just mean like filler or like things that are there for the sake of it. I do my best to make everything intentional and to have everything mean something because that's the stuff that I'm the most drawn to in music. Like that's what gets me like, oh my God.
Yeah, I will say reading the lyrics, even without the music, it definitely was kind of that experience of poetry. And I feel like I had a better understanding of it. Even though I felt like I knew the lyrics already, it was a different experience, which I very much enjoy.
I love that game. My parents' last EP, I have this footage of them. Like, I'm like, okay, so like how's that song go? And they're like, oh my God, thumbs up. I'm like, how's this song go? And they're like, and they're just making up all this shit. I'm like, it's a really good effort. You have got to pay attention.
Gold, which is my favorite song on the EP. Technically, Only Human was my first favorite song. The first time I listened to it, I was like, oh, I really like Only Human. But then I listened to it again and it was gold. Like gold to me in my head is going to be the song like 20 years from now that like you're closing out like your stadium tour and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's gold. Like
I would love that.
it's the song that just like stays there and the fact that your parents are on it. Like I love it. But my favorite part that I randomly will just say out loud all the time now is when I ramble on is because I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it now. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
I feel like sometimes my ability to converse can be a shield. And I feel like I'm very good at or I'm adept, I would say, at like changing conversation and moving flow. And like, I think also knowing that I'm a distractible person, like allows me to sometimes do that on purpose. Like I could be like, huh? And just like, I feel like I could weasel out of tough conversations if I wanted to. And I, I'm trying to do that less.
It's the song is very relatable to me. I know that you had previously talked about it being about your journey of being non-binary, but for me, even though the whole weight thing, how I experienced it for myself, how I relate to it, even though I know it's about someone else's experience, it was just like all the things that make you different that sometimes you even think it's like a curse, like why am I this way, like why can't I break out of it? It's just like no, that's actually the most worthwhile thing you have. Like it's like that song could just make me cry every time. Like I love gold.
So glad. That's totally it though, too. Like that to me, that makes so much sense. It's like the things that feel the heaviest are probably the most important and significant, and that they should be treasured. That's that's 100% it.
What was your favorite line on it?
My favorite line is I love that. I'm like this is what I'm talking about. I'm like, yes to this. I already have them in my head. My favorite line, so it's like this is the second verse. Stone me just enough to crack the seed. Something who I was, the roads I can't see, catacombs to who I was.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Catacombs to who I was. I wrote that line without knowing what catacombs was, and then I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, it's perfect!" Like that made me really happy, and I think also in retrospect, it means more with the lens of like where I am now. Like
Yeah.
one of those underground roads to like, and it also makes me think of bees, like the little like, you know what I mean, like the little catacombs, little that they go through. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
what's
love
up with you and bees? Like, I noticed that you have bee tattoos. I had meant to
it.
ask this before. Like, what's up with bees?
I'm just a huge fan. I'm just a really big fan of bees. I think they're beautiful. I think they're so lovely and friendly, and they're like responsible for our life. Like we'd be dead. I'm very grateful to bees. I think that they get a bad rap, and I think that everyone should just be like less afraid of them. They're really sweet.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't like bees.
But
Well, have you
like,
ever been stung?
yeah, I was stung when I was a kid. I still don't mind.
Oh, and you're still cool with them?
We'll see, like over the past maybe like 5 or so years, I've just been visited by them. Like I've had so many instances of like bees coming to like where I live and like stopping on the ground or like stopping nearby. I was on, I had a singing lesson back home once, and then I went to a cafe afterwards and I was calling my partner just to say hi. Oh no, I think I was filming a video saying like blah blah blah, hi, this is what I'm doing today. And while I was doing that, a bee just like flew right into my head and just was like there for a second. I was like, oh, hello. And she was just lost. She was just like, oh, what's going on? I don't really know what's happening. I need a rest. And then she flew off. And that was it, like
You're so gentle. That's such a sweet point of view.
they're gentle, you know what I mean? Like they're just like like flying around, like trying to get nectar and shit. It's
Yeah.
dope.
Okay. Oh, also, how was it like? We talked about it a tad bit, but then I saw like a video of it later on social media, and it was funny because the first person when I posted your video, the first person who liked it, I'm like 99% sure it's your dad. Like it was this guy with like the hyphen, like Hamilton Reeves, and like has no posts.
It's 100% my dad. 100%. My dad is my stalker. It's weird, but I get it. Like I mean, both of my parents want to talk more than I feel like I can sometimes because I'm busy doing stuff, trying to build life, career, whatever. But so like everything that is shared, that's like another thing for them to be like, oh, cool, we know. Like, oh, that's good. Like, oh, it's going well. Like, oh, you're okay. Like, so they're like, I think dad's got notifications on or something.
That's so sweet. I was like, oh, that's super sweet. But yeah, you have such a like. I know you were saying you're the brother who is the closest in age to you, closest in age. Your manager is in a band, and then your parents play string instruments. Has music always just been a part of your life?
Yeah, 100%. I'm so fortunate for that as well. Like I was saying, literally a couple days ago, I was making this song with my friend Mona. Oh, shout out Mona. Mona's not. Um, but we made this beautiful little track, and it is the first time I think ever since like making contemporary music that I like accidentally, well, not even accidentally, I just realized what we made. I was like, oh my God, this could be around. And I like made a round and I was like, I fucking made a round. And I was like, my first thought was to tell my mom because when I was a kid in primary school, she would like hold singing classes with my class and we would sing all these different songs and sing rounds and like learn like, traditional music and like African songs and like, yeah, music has always been a part of my life. And my mom was like very, very dominant in that space of just making sure that we had music all the time, learning violin and all this stuff.
Yeah. What was your parents' reaction like when you asked them to be on the song?
I don't know if I'm making this up. I can just imagine it. Like, mom was super excited and then immediately nervous. And then dad was like, okay. Like, I know they both were excited and like loved the idea of being on it, but the idea of executing it was like a bit daunting. And also, we didn't have the nicest space to record them.
It was homey. It was homey.
Yeah,
I
it
could,
was fun.
at least from what I saw, it felt cozy. It felt very family oriented. Does your oldest brother do music at all?
He does not, but he kind of has perfect pitch and was like a bit of a like savant when he was playing. So like he like was like, nah, I'm out, but also could. You know what I mean? And he also is like obsessed with like hip hop and rap. And he kind of has like a Rolodex. Like he's very like schooled in music and is a huge fan and avid listener. He's every now and then we're hanging out, he like says something, he's like, I can make that a song. I can make a hit. Look at this. Listen to this. This is God. There's nothing. I can make that. Bop bop boobity bop.
Oh,
Yeah.
older brothers.
Yeah. I appreciate his sort of perspective. He's always very honest with me about what he thinks and how he feels about my music, which I really appreciate.
And it's also nice to have a person in your life that can have that very separate point of view and that this isn't something that they do every day by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only Human, which was, I think it was my favorite song at first because not that I disliked it more. I just
Wow.
like Gold is very personal to me. But I
Right.
really liked Only Human because I just didn't expect it at all. Like I was playing it through and I was like, oh ah. Um so in the second verse, that's your voice, right? And it's just kind of distorted.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to go about that?
So the verse isn't only human. I have a video on my phone actually, which that's cool that I can post that now. I have a whole 4 minute video of me essentially sketching out the verses in like a take of just being like it was the end of a session. I had scrapped pretty much everything we did because it sounded wrong. And I was like, oh no, we made a bad song. But we had the chorus and the little like pre thing, like listen, listen, listen. So we kept the vocals of that, and I was like, get rid of everything else. I was like, this isn't feeling right. We had 30 minutes, and I was like, ah. And the producer was like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. All right. Let me just. So I played the chords that are on the thing on guitar, and that felt great. I was like, wicked. And then producer Wyatt like mocked up this beat instantly. I was like, this is sick. And then as soon as he found that sound, it's like, boom, like that big in my head, that's a sonic like fucking love that sound. That's probably my favorite part of the song, if I'm being honest. The whole time just like um but yeah, so the verse happened really, really quickly. So I was just like, blah, 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 I'm only human, dooba 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 doo for like 2 minutes. And then he was like, I'm just gonna play with it, and then fiddled with it and automated all of this like, like format shifting and pitch shifting. And it just felt, I think the reason it stayed was that it felt so fun. And to me, Only Human needed to be, I wanted it to be the celebration, like this like less serious, more expressive and joyous and silly sort of like the music that everyone else gets. Like everyone else has a theme that is like nonsensical, not nonsensical, but like don't take life too seriously, everything's chill. And I think I wanted that for this project and for me and for I guess anyone that feels that way.
Yeah. What I liked about it was kind of that summer lightness to it. But what I liked about the project as a whole is that it's all on theme, but it doesn't feel like forced, if that makes any sense. Like it still is an album and this fun experience, but it doesn't like, oh, like I gotta talk about this again. Like it has a theme, it has a collection, whatever. It's this
No, I get
journey
it.
or
Yeah.
process to Jupiter, but not every song is the same at all, which I feel like a lot of songs are like, okay, like I understand you're brokenhearted. Can we talk about something else? So I liked it a lot. My favorite, I had two favorite verses on it. So maybe it's high. No, Golden, Only Human are like they're my twins. Um, my two favorites was I was trying to be a man, then everyone bought it. What more do you want from me? Only human to me. And I kind of chalked that up as, I was trying to be what I was told I was. Everyone agreed, like everyone kind of went along with it. And like, what else do you want? Like, I've already tried it and I'm just a human. I don't even think in those types of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, like it's adjacent to that. My experience of it was like like you saying, I tried being what I was raised to be and what I was told that I was. And for whatever reason, and I still feel this, like that moment, like when everyone was like, yeah, that's who you are, like my heart dropped, like feeling that be how I was perceived and like that being my reality all the time made me feel really uncomfortable. And that was also a part of like all like the cause for questioning, the cause for learning. I was just like, this doesn't. I had so many questions. I was like, does that feel weird on anyone else? Like, does that skin fit you? Like, it just started rubbing me and rubbing me and rubbing me. I was like, this isn't it. Like, this isn't it. I don't like it. It doesn't feel nice. And that was like, oh, it was, yeah, it was just like the ball drop vibes. It was just like, oh, like that's not me. I'm this.
Yes. You're not going to make me cry. I'm not doing those traditions. I'm going to cry. So I'm moving on to the next line. It's just always, you're so sweet. Not in a like condescending or infantilizing way. I just like, I get it in a different way. Like I'm cisgender or whatever. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is about me too. It's not. But
No,
like,
but everyone has their experiences with the confines of what like is put upon them and like the expectations of what you're supposed to be, and you're just trying to be a person, whether you are cisgendered or not. I think that's true.
oh, thanks. Not that you have to pacify me, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate it because I very much connect with this project. And I don't believe in gassing people up. But the other one that I really liked is I'm a tool, I'm a hack, I'm a bad bitch, bad bitch. I thought like if someone was like and I don't know every definition because I am not this. It's like that meme like, oh, explain being non-binary to like a 5-year-old, like when they're like, oh, explain it to me like I'm 5. That would be like if someone was like, oh, like that's I would be like, oh, I get it. Like that's just my interpretation. I'm like, oh, like that's all you had to say.
That is so funny. Explain it to me like that's amazing. I love that connection. I'm taking that and I'm running with it. Oh my God. That
Yeah.
is so funny. That line was like, I love that line because of it's like what, 3 lines,
Mhm.
3 words or whatever, and all of them mean something really, I guess, specific to me. Kind of like you're saying, like that's pretty much it. Like that's what it means. Like I'm ridiculous. I'm silly. I'm like I'm a tool. I mean, I guess you could take that either way. Like I'm a tool as in like I'm of service, or I'm a tool as in like I'm a fucking moron. Like I'm nobody. I'm a hack. I'm an imposter. This like I don't know what's real. But I'm also a bad bitch.
Yeah. And just kind of the idea of how those words are usually associated with like binary ideas of like, oh, men are tools, only women could be a bad bitch. Like it was just like I get like that's all you had to tell me. Like I get it. Is how I.
Oh no. I love that. I like your brain. I like the way I like decipher things. That's so cool.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I really appreciate, I guess because they're the most important part to me, my hope and my dream is that people like not obsessed, but in fine detail go, wait, what is that? Because I like the intention is for everything to hold something. And so it's like it should be that fun of being able to go through like, oh, this, like, you know what I mean? That's my
Yeah.
hope.
It's funny because I think it's in Only Human or maybe it's in Big Wigs. Like the mention of the McDonald's spoon, I was like, oh, they're talking about Coke. Like,
It's totally human.
I was like, oh, like I get it. Okay, so yeah, it is some things that like I'll pick up that it with the lyrics, or if I'm just listening to it, I'm like, oh wait, plot twist.
Little backstage Mickey D spoon Coke key.
But when I heard the Mickey D spoon, I immediately was like, "There's Coke here," because of Pusha T. I was like, "Oh, there. Oh, no one uses that for coffee." So, yeah.
That is so sick.
So
My
I do notice these things.
That's fantastic. My favorite line, which is silly, but it's just how I feel. My favorite line is the end of verse 2. Kobe beef, like Shaq talking smack post, everybody knows 4 is 2 plus 3. Shaq has this like infamous like post game press conference when at like the height of like the Shaq Kobe beef. And someone asks him like, "Oh, how do you feel about Kobe Bryant?" He's just like, "It's irrelevant. Everybody knows 2 plus 2 is 5." And like I spent easily an entire morning trying to make that line. I was like, I'm making this work. I'm gonna fit Shaq in the line.
Especially with your name being Kobe as well. When you were
Yeah.
little, were you super excited that your name was Kobe because of Kobe Bryant? Because it seems like you like basketball. From because I
It
saw
was a
your reaction
mixed
to
bag.
the women's
Oh my
NCAA
God.
tournament.
I'm can we just have a side moment for the WNBA getting all of these incredible players coming in from college? Wow. I'm so excited that I live in LA now because I'm like, I think I'm just gonna have to go for USC. Like Juju Watkins, they just got a transfer. Who came over? It doesn't matter. Anyway, very big fan. Basketball, yeah, I played basketball since I was 5. Like as soon as I could like dribble a ball, I was playing because both of my brothers played. It was a mixed bag though. Being called Kobe in Australia, particularly, is interesting. It like everyone's connotation of it was that you would be black and play basketball, and I did do those things, and it was like it was just like a lot of stereotyping and a little bit of racism, a
Sprinkle.
lot. But
You like? I didn't
no,
know that you live in LA now. How do you like LA?
it's cool. I mean, to be fair, it's the same. Like I've spent the past 2 years, I spent half the year here. So like I'm here, I'm about to go on tour, and then I'm going to like playing here in New York, and then I go to Europe, and then I go back home for a couple shows, and then I come back. So it's like I haven't like I've moved emotionally, but physically I'm still all over the place, and I haven't been able to settle properly yet. But it's been nice.
Oh, that's nice. That's
Yeah,
nice. Well, what do you miss most about Australia?
the water, especially like Melbourne, exquisite water all over the place. You could drink tap water anywhere, and it's fantastic. Beautiful water. It's like it's really good. I miss it a lot. I miss being able to fill up my bottle from the tap.
Yeah, no, don't do that here. It's
Yeah, it's not a
actually
thing.
kind of dangerous,
Yeah, it doesn't
sadly. Big Wigs, which is how we close out this project.
Yeah.
My favorite, and then it actually made me like, I've listened to it already. I know it's 11 minutes, so it's not that impressive. I've listened to it on Spotify like 5 times already
That is
because
impressive. It came out today.
yeah, because it keep like, especially Big Wigs, it's like a trick because like there's these lines in Big Wigs to me that I'm like, oh, like now I need to use this point of view that I have to listen to it again. Um, so you have this line that says, between my partner and my family, work is coming first. I bet it hurt for the Grammys. Well, it ain't that. Balance and understanding, throwing feelings at the canvas till you can't breathe.
Yeah.
I can't plan nobody. It feels as if like you're also at this point in your life that you have very much leaned in and accepted you are non-binary, and also that you're pursuing this music, and it's in itself a very, it feels like a very selfish endeavor.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's been like, especially since releasing music, all of my relationships have they've just changed a bit. Like I think particularly because I signed before COVID. Like I signed my deals, and that meant that I like had a job. Like I had been paid, like I had my salary and whatever, blah 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 blah. But it's like my time was like writing and waiting. So I had all this time to be around, to see people, to do all this stuff. And I think for my life to switch so kind of dramatically to like I have to work a lot, like a comparatively, especially, like obviously not compared to people that have got 2 jobs, 3 jobs, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
like my life changed and I'm kind of on, I feel like I'm on the clock a lot. Like, as far as like having to just do stuff and participate in like all the stuff that goes into building a career. And I want that for myself. And it just takes a lot of time, and it takes time away from people that I love. And it's like for some people, I think they feel that that time is uh like maybe not enough. And that's something that I've sort of had to come to terms with, of like I have to choose myself. Like obviously when it comes to my family and my partner and my relationships, like there are people that I am unwilling to like let go of, or to, you know what I mean? Like it's funny as far as like coming into myself and understanding what it means to me to be non-binary. Balancing life around that was interesting, and balancing life around music is, it's just like a huge learning curve. Like my day is not like anyone else's day. My week isn't like anyone's week. My month, my year, there's so much to anticipate, but also that is just in the ether. Like, would I say no to randomly being like, well, something's happening, back home, go to play these shows, or like, God willing, Japan. um, you know, yeah, it definitely, sometimes it hurts, and that's okay.
I need to talk to you about your maturity level. It very much confuses me. So you were born, I'm guessing from your song, you were born in 99, correct?
Yeah, celebrate.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. What is your birthday? I'm just curious.
May 10th, I'm playing New York on my birthday.
It's almost your birthday. It's almost your 25th birthday. Oh my gosh. It's also
So
weird that 99 was 25 years ago. That's a whole nother like mathematical thing. But I feel like, and I won't say I'm jealous, but I definitely envy it. I feel like you have come to terms with so many things, as in like being yourself is going to have so many advantages, but you're also going to lose a lot of things too. Like, how have you kind of been comfortable and at ease with putting yourself first and all of the good and kind of bad that comes with it?
it's really strange. I don't think I'm that good at it yet, to be honest. I I was thinking about that actually recently. I'm just like how often I don't choose myself. I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Like I gotta look after myself a bit different. But I feel like I'm always tussling with change. Like everyone is. Change is like this inevitable, crazy, almighty force that is just forever and always moving us in one direction or the other. And I think that has kind of been a helpful lens for me. Like I started reading Octavia Butler's book, Parable of the Sower, and it's set next year, written in like the 80s. And it's this like apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic world where like it hasn't rained in however long. And she's in California, and this young woman, this young teenager, she's like inventing her own religion, and it's all about change. Like her God is change because that's the only constant that she sees in life and nature. And it's like it's totally taken me on a trip. But I find it like quite comforting.
I envy that. I want to get to that level one day.
Like it's easier to talk about than to implement.
Yes. I'm like, I totally understand and I get it. And I'm like, yeah, that's hard and can be lonely sometimes too. When you're on like a journey of growth, not everyone is on the exact same journey and time period of you, and you're just like, oh, like I hope you catch up, but like I still have to keep pace in what I'm doing. That's interesting.
It is
Um,
it's super interesting. But yeah, like Big Wigs, it's a fun, I love this song because it feels so fun. And I'm talking about like especially the like I love that end of the line, like throwing feelings at the canvas till you can't breathe.
mhm.
I definitely feel that way, like a lot of just like it being so important for everything like to mean something, but then sometimes it leaves you empty because you're just putting everything you have trying to make it something. And sometimes that's not the best thing.
No, no. Uh, so a lot of the elements throughout the visuals of the album is the shattered glass. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I feel like the shattered glass serves a couple of functions or a couple of ideas as far as like the fragmented nature of existing. I feel like, especially the way I think about it, as in there is a whole of someone, of me, but that whole is more than likely made of so many little parts and probably infinite parts, and all of those are true and all of those are real. And you know, it's unlikely that we like all of those parts, but they still are like us. So I feel like they sort of represent that. They also like, well, they're just mirrors, right? Like sometimes I'm looking at myself, sometimes I'm looking at a different me. Sometimes it's a window into something greater. And we also, I mean, this happened after the fact, but this is just like a very fun thing. I had never played Kirby, like the video game.
Okay.
And after we um like just because Kirby has all these portals and like Kirby collects little like shards of glass, and I didn't know that. And I after we made the videos, I was randomly in Target and they had like a little like play Nintendo, like you could just hang out because I was like, I don't know, something was up and I like missed something. I was like, I'm just gonna chill for a sec. And I was just playing Kirby and I was like, oh my God, we kind of made that. Like I thought it was so dope. But yeah, it's like it's a mirror, it is parts of me, and it's also like to collect enough pieces gets you access to more parts of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's your portal. And then, you know, Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for the things I cannot talk about.
What about the miniature videos that you've made for social media?
Yeah, it's been like a concerted effort and I guess like a sort of different approach to making like to just being able to support the songs, I think, in a different way, especially since we don't have, videos for everything like with Everything Was Green, which actually was kind of overwhelming as far as like the things to put out. I was just like, there's too many things, there's too many videos, there's too many. I'm like, video, cover, single cover, post about this, post about that. This has been a little bit more calm, and I've had heaps of support from the team to make these like really fun, vibrant like videos. And it's like, I feel like I'm understanding a little bit more like my aesthetic and what I want people to see. Because to me, it's just important that it's beautiful and that like it feels like a snapshot of an energy that I carry. That's how I kind of view them.
I like them because they're just like these fun things that pop out that feel on the surface level like really casual, but then when you think about it or you see it again, it's like, man, there's like a lot going on. There's like this huge production level that like I didn't consider, and like it's visually, it's like very bright and beautiful.
Yeah.
So I
Shout
do
out
like.
to, shout outs to Alex at the Warner team for shooting those. He
Oh
has a
yeah,
really beautiful eye.
yeah. They also feel a bit dangerous at times. Like the gold one, like when you're sitting down, I'm like, what is
I
going
was
on?
so hyped on that. I just think that's such a dope shot. Like, what? I look like I'm hanging. We did get kicked out after that. They were pretty upset about it.
But you got the video.
But the shot, that's what
Yes,
matters.
and you're alive. So
Yeah, that too, for sure. I did have a thought. I was like, could I roll out of this if I fell? And I think I could, at least like a bit. You don't land on straight on your feet. You just collapse.
how many stories up were you?
Only two, maybe three.
Oh, okay. It looks so much higher. And
No,
no, I was like, I don't think you can roll out of it. It's like 26 stories.
oh, whoa, no, I don't think I would feel. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, hee, I'm a daredevil, but like, I'm not like that though.
Yeah, well, it looks completely different than I guess it actually was, and it looks super cool. I saw online that you're thinking of adding covers to your set list. Have you decided on some yet? Is that a surprise?
I have.
It's a surprise.
Well, I guess I can tell you, I'm like the odds of this coming out before the show in 3 days.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna cover Erica
Oh yeah.
finishing up. I think it'll be really fun. And it like I I figured out a way to make it flow seamlessly. And that is really like that was what sold me. I was like, oh cool, these are the same chords. I could just go from this straight into that.
How has it been like coming up with the set list? Have you had some songs that you're like, oh, I really want on here, but it's just not going to work? Like, how has it been like to kind of curate yourself in a way?
Honestly, it's more difficult, like because the set that I was working from had already made some pretty big decisions about what's in and what's out. I was like, cool, let's run with that. I'm like, this is what we're working with. And to me, it was more about arranging it and finding an order that makes sense and feels good, but also speaks to the project. Because obviously, I can't just play like four songs. But it's funny because, like the other projects, yeah, they just have such a different vantage point, I feel. And so trying to weave a story between all of them has been tricky but fun. I think I'm in a really good spot.
That's great. A city are you most excited to play?
Wait, one more time.
What city are you most excited to play?
Mhm. That's tough. Like all of these shows feel like the first to me. So I'm really like, to me, this whole tour is like, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy. As far as just like playing in front of so many different people and being in so many different places. I mean, mm, like my family's coming in New York. Like my auntie, both my aunties and my uncle are coming, which is really cute. And like not from New York, like coming from like Washington and coming from like North Carolina, like they're coming,
Oh
which I
wow.
think is really sweet. So that's gonna be fun. I feel like a lot of my friends that I've made like over the last couple of years in LA are gonna like show up and like some producers and stuff. So like this show here is gonna be really special. And also at Gold Diggers, like a place that I've written at a bunch. But I'm playing in Sweden, like that's crazy. It's gonna be so cold. I'm I'm nervous about that show.
Yeah, well, it seems as if you're excited for every show. You mentioned that you were excited that you want to play in Japan. Is that like that's a country, but is that the place that you would want to play the most, that you're most excited to eventually play?
Probably. Yeah. Just because like there've been a few moments from like online with just like I remember this girl did a dance to hologram that was totally sick. Like there's just been a few things that Japan has done, like Japanese like fans and stuff, and I'm just like, damn, I wanna go. Also just hear so many cool things. I really want to go to Japan, even just as a traveler.
Is there something kind of unique that you're packing on tour that is kind of very like your thing that's important for you to bring?
I have considered bringing my spiky mat.
What's spiky mat?
Wait, I'll do it. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Oh, my body. This is a spiky mat. It's like made of like a
It
million little
looks
spikes.
so satisfying. That would be
You can
so
lay on
great
it,
to lay
and
on.
it's like super calming. Um, it's kind of big though. It does squish down a bit, but I don't know. So I'm thinking about bringing that just to like, because it's going to be a lot of like running around. I think that having something to always be like cold showers are that for me, but coupled with that before bed, like out like a light.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I also meant to ask you, and I noticed now, you seem to have like a large collection of crop tops. Why are crop
Oh,
tops like your go-to thing?
do you know what? I'm glad you brought this up. Common mistake. This is actually a baby tea. And
Oh,
oh, mastering something emotional. What is it?
navigation takes a lifetime.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is a shirt from Change. That I like discovered like last year. Yeah. And I'm obsessed with them. It's sort of the top that makes me feel most like myself.
why is
Like it's
that?
down, and it's just like I like the way that it fits, like the way that it feels. I like that it leaves room for like, like a boxer line and then like a pant line, like a nice, like I just think of it as like just like nice layering effect. And I just think it's cute and it feels, yeah, it just feels like me.
What if everyone starts noticing this as well and they just show up on tour with baby tees on? Like that's a thing. It's like
I'm
on your
trying to
tour show.
I'm trying to organize like that's the goal. That's the goal of merch, getting a little bit baby tea action going on.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Well, I've already kept you long enough in a sense. But thank you. This has been incredible per usual. I love talking to you. I
As
hope
do I.
I hope to see you
Okay.
in person one day. We're going to definitely have to make that work.
Yeah, 100%. We'll have a beautiful dinner or something.
Yes, yes.